This is your man Royster59. I just want to shout out my boy True, the fellow Detroit legend. Just wanted to salute him and Domo and Sugar James for having the #1 radio show.
What's up?
And just like that, we are back. It's 420. My name is
best
True.
Holiday ever.
I am here with Domo Monster.
Holla.
We are Green Room
Holla,
Radio.
holla.
We got Hugh, the producer, with us today. And a very special
We have
guest.
a godfather here.
Did you say grandpa? Or
I said a godfather.
I don't want to mess up the last name. It's Dustin Abraham.
Abraham, yeah.
Abraham.
Like
Just like Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, from...
Our founding fathers of weed smoke.
Yeah, most of you know him for the movie, from the movie How High. Me and Domo Monster know him from Coachella 2018. Quite an experience.
Quite a drive.
Shout out to Dustin Penner. Hopefully he's doing well.
What did you say? They were the famous Dustins.
Yeah,
what number?
So I'm at just Saturday. I was at Coachella, and I get those like
crazy
Google alerts on my name just to see like what people are posting about me on Google, and I get like the most famous Dustins website. So I click on it, and of course #1's Dustin Hoffman.
Okay.
So I start going down the list, like Dustin Lance, the guy who wrote the movie for Sean Penn.
Wow.
There's like, and all of a sudden I get to 14, and Penner's 14, Dustin Penner.
Ooh,
Yeah.
7-7.
And who's 15? Me.
Fuck yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right, so keep going.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman. You got some dude from a band. I don't know, a tennis player, Pedroia. There's the guy who wrote the movie, the Dustin Diamond from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, he's the porn star.
Yeah.
Hey, he's #7.
Dude
there
who
you
created
go.
Facebook,
#7.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, look at his birthday, January 7, 1977.
Wow.
And then there's
there
me,
he
and they
is.
have me as 126 years old. Click
You're
on it.
like the
And
anonymous
there's
guy.
Penner. And me and Penner beef over dumb shit. Like, we
No,
love
I
each other.
said,
That
bro,
is hilarious.
That right there, if Penner hasn't seen that's a win for him.
Exactly.
All day, but
So,
yeah, that's
anyway.
kind of crazy to.
I was proud of myself that I was the 50th.
Why
There's a
didn't
lot
you
of
have a
Dustins out
picture?
there.
Yeah, you need a
Yeah.
picture on there. You better. You're the.
I know, man.
You're the incognito, and they got Dustin as a what is it, an Edmonton Oiler?
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like
doesn't
they
he have
should.
like 3?
Well, I saw the Brown
Stanley
Dustin.
Cups?
I think he's 2. He's either 2 or 3, but Dustin Brown was his teammate on the King.
Right, and
LA
he's up
King. He was
above
up
him.
there.
Did he make it?
Yeah.
He was above him.
I wonder why the UFC fighter's not on there, though.
Which UFC fighter?
Poirier? Or
Oh yeah, Dustin Poirier.
Hmm.
Well, I think he's too.
Should be
He's,
above him.
yeah, well, Poirier, I think is just still. He's too young.
Too young.
He will be. He will be a legend once
Gotta
he's.
earn his stripes. I mean,
Yeah.
he's pretty
still.
fucking
He's,
good.
yeah, he's still earning
Beat
his.
Conor
stripes.
McGregor.
Yeah,
Should be
beat
on
him.
that list.
Knocked him out. Right?
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
Twice. Are you a
That's a good
UFC
one.
fan?
I mean, I'm not like old school like you are.
Yeah.
But I've been getting into it, like,
Yeah.
and I'll look
Bro,
up.
this is MMA town out here, man. Like,
I know.
It was crazy because Domo Monster here wasn't. I don't. You don't really hang out with people a lot. So she's one of the few I hang out with, and once I got her addicted, now she's in the soap opera with it. And
I love it. It's like better than girl drama,
No, like
like
when
better than reality shows,
yeah, like
because they actually beat motherfuckers up.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
And I'll I don't know a lot of the guys now. I'm learning them, but I'll go online before the fights start and like look at their rankings and see. I like those guys that are from like those weird little countries next to Russia. Those dudes.
Oh, the
they're, like,
Dagestanians?
God.
Yeah,
knock
the
out, like,
Dagestanians.
What is the guy? What's
Khabib.
What's the little guy?
Oh,
My little
There's
guy.
a boxer named Better Biev who's like, I don't think he's
Yeah.
ever gonna lose, but there's a whatever.
I'm not sure, but that little guy's Hezbollah.
Hezbollah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see that little like? He's
I-
kinda
I
We
like
need to
a
get
little-
high with that guy. I don't think he
Bro.
gets high, but
He's like
we need
he's
to.
a little person from
He's on my-
Dagestan, and he's like probably one of the
on
most
my list.
famous
Dagestan.
people in the world. And he just signed a deal with Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan sent him like 400 pairs of Jordans. So now Hezbollah is a brand representative.
He looks like a little baby,
You should sell
Yeah.
those
but I know he's not a
at
baby.
Urban Necessities.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So,
Jay-Z,
so speaking
JC.
of this, where I heard you say you were born and raised in Las Vegas.
Well, no, I was born in Burbank.
Burbank.
And
Okay.
Oh,
then I moved
Burbank?
to Vegas. My dad moved me to Vegas when I was like 2.
Yeah.
So
okay.
What did your dad do? Was he into writing and stuff?
no, my dad was actually a stockbroker out here.
Yeah.
He's still alive. He's still here, but he's kind of like
Retired.
likes his space,
Oh.
you know.
Yeah.
But he was
He doesn't. You mean to tell me he doesn't want his older son bugging him anymore?
I mean, he
Did
would,
you ever
but
get
he's
high
kind of
with
like
your
I
dad?
ask him to go out, and he doesn't want to go out. He wants to just stay home and watch TV. But he's the one who kind of got me into film and TV, and he would take me to like as you know, as a kid. He wasn't like a sports kind of dad, you know. He was the kind of dad that would take me to the record store, so I go buy
Okay.
a record album or cassette tapes or whatever.
So that's
And then he'd
automatically.
take me to
Okay.
the movies, and we watch a movie, and then this was every weekend. So even if the movies like were shitty that weekend and we already saw the good ones, he would take me to even the shitty movies. So like in a way, he got me to see the good and bad in film, and I think that's why I became such a fan of acting, and I didn't know I was going to be a writer. The writing thing kind of happened.
Did that happen around the time you discovered marijuana?
In a way, when I went to Arizona State. I mean, I could tell you the story about how.
Did you go to school for writing? Is there such a school?
I went to school. So I went to Chaparral High School out here in Las Vegas, and in my senior year, I met Anthony Zeiker, the guy that created CSI.
Wow.
And he
So was
already,
he from Vegas?
Yeah, he's from Vegas. In fact,
Wow.
the theater he built a theater at Chaparral High School. If you drive by Chaparral High School, there's a theater that's separate from the school, and it says
What area is that in? I've never seen the Chaparral.
East, like
East Vegas.
Sand Hill,
Okay.
and
That's basically
Sand
around
Hill and
here, I
Trop.
think. Oh yeah, we're on Trop. Sand Hill's like the next one or two
Down
up.
there.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly. And so he did this. It's really crazy. He did this thing called speech and forensics, which is it's separate from theater. So like theater, you do theater in high school, you get on stage and you do a play. Speech and forensics is like you do monologues. They're like performances by yourself. So for example, you would take a cutting from a play like Death of a Salesman, and you would cut it down to 10 minutes and you would perform it by yourself. Or you would take like a cutting from a book. Like for example, James Dean did speech and forensics in high school. He took a cutting of Grapes of Wrath, John Steinbeck, and cut it to 10 minutes and performed it. And so like there's these tournaments where all these kids come perform these 10-minute, we call them pieces, but they're 10-minute performances. And they're from literature, whether it's a play, theater, books, prose, poetry you can do. And you go to these tournaments, and what I liked about it was in theater, like, you do the play and everybody claps for you at the end. In this, you could can I cuss on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, in
yes.
this, you can win. You win. Like,
Win.
you win a trophy.
Is it kind of
like,
like
I'm the best.
is it kind of like a rap battle, sort of?
Kind of, but you're
Yeah.
like
Like a
performing
competition of
literature.
these.
So,
Yeah.
and then you do all the characters. So, like, you're talking to yourself. And
That's great.
Anthony, I met Anthony through a friend, the guy, the creator of CSI. At the time, he wasn't the creator of CSI. He was just a guy who did speech and forensics in high school. And he was already doing it in college when I met him. He's like 2 or 3 years older than me. So I was still in high school, and he's like, you know what? He's like, you like imitate people really good. Like, I think you would be a good performer. So he took a play. The play was Coming Attractions. Famous screenwriter, playwright Ted Talley wrote it. And he took the play, and plays are usually like 2 hours, right? Mm-hmm. But you got to cut it down to 10 minutes and still make a story out of that. And you do all the characters. So I did all the, like, he had me do like 10 or 15 characters in this thing. He told me how to do it. I went to a tournament, and I won. And I went to the next tournament, and I won. And I went to the next tournament, and I won. I was really good at it, and I ended up winning like the state championship for Nevada. And
wow,
because
that's
of
crazy.
that, Arizona State University, which is really good at speech and forensics, like they're like one of the top schools at the time, offered me a full ride scholarship there to compete. And then when I did it there, you were still supposed to, I won the national championship, actually.
Wow.
I won the national championship in drama. But there, Zeiker, at that time when I was going to college, he was he was working. This is the craziest story ever. I mean, I think a lot of people in Vegas know this story, but this is one of the craziest Vegas stories of all time when it comes to somebody becoming famous from Vegas. He was working the tram that takes you from the Mirage to Treasure Island, making like $8 an hour. And he started, I was telling him, I was like, you know, I don't like doing plays and books because there's other people at the tournaments doing them. He's like, you know what, I'm going to write you some stuff. He's like, I'm going to write you stuff that no one's seen before. So he started writing me these monologues, like my face was burnt off. I was doing just all kinds of crazy characters. And I ended up just winning every single tournament. And I won the national championship. And when I won the national championship for Arizona State, I got another scholarship to get a master's degree at Cal State LA in East LA, in the hood in East LA. It's not UCLA. It's not USC. It's Cal State LA, right? Mm-hmm. But the instructor there was like this feminist woman named Judith Hamera. And she was going to be the head of my thesis, and she was just had a really good rep across the country. And like she was like really free with the way she thought. And so I felt like she felt like Cal State LA worked better for her than USC or UCLA, which is kind of more strict. Mm-hmm. So she gave me a scholarship there. And while I was there, I would coach other kids in speech and forensics, and I started writing we call them pieces. I started writing their pieces.
Wow. And
then I coached the next national champion, and then the national champion after that. And so then when the Hollywood stuff started happening, was I knew this girl from Arizona State, and her friend was Angie Harmon. If you Google her, you'll know who Angie is.
Can you look that up,
Yeah, look up Angie Harmon.
Put it on the screen.
And so she went to Arizona State, but she was from Dallas, and Angie Harmon was from Dallas. And at the time, Angie Harmon was doing, this is like late 90s, was doing Baywatch Nights. What she's known for, though, is like Law and Order. She's one of the main people on Law and Order, the lawyers. She's really pretty. She's like, anyway, she was starting out as an actress. And my friend from Arizona State, this girl, she was like, you know what? I want you to meet Angie. I want Angie. Yeah, there she is.
Which one? The one on the...
Yeah.
Okay, so she was really young when I met her. She was doing Baywatch Nights. Yeah, Rizzoli and Island. Yeah, she had her own show.
What's that? Was Pamela Anderson in Baywatch Nights?
Yeah, no, not Nights. She was in the regular Baywatch. Then they did the spin-off.
Okay.
So my friend from Arizona State was her best friend. She's like, I want Angie to see you do your speech monologues. I want her to see your acting. So I did them for her at this restaurant, which is weird. I did them like something crazy. And she was like blown away. She was like, holy shit, you're like a sick actor. She's like, I'm going to introduce you to David Hasselhoff because, you know, Baywatch. She's like, I want to introduce you to my manager, my agent. Let me know if I'm talking too much.
No,
okay, good.
no.
She's like, I want to introduce you to my manager and agent. So I wasn't thinking I wanted to be an actor. Like I saw myself as more of just, I was going to teach speech, like be a professor.
Yeah.
That was my goals, to like teach speech somewhere, be a professor at a college, and then just be ahead of the speech team and have my own team and go on tournaments. Because it's a whole side culture, you know.
Are you Jewish?
My mom's Jewish. My dad's Syrian, which is weird because they hate each other. They've been throwing rocks at each other for years. So like, I hate my Jewish side sometimes, and I hate my Arab side sometimes. So
I was gonna say because I thought Jewish, so I was gonna just flip 1 minute into the whole Kanye thing. What do you think about that?
I love Kanye.
Does he get the pass? He gets the pass.
I can't use that against him.
I mean, it came and went. It came and went. So I'm always like Kanye.
I think he said, who's the guy? God damn it. Seth Hill or Jonah Hill made him love Jews again.
Exactly. Yeah. Dude, Kanye is crazy. He went on stage.
No, that came in. Hey, most people that would have ended.
Beyonce delivered. I mean, what do you expect from Kanye? I can't use that shit against him.
Right.
Here's what I think, though. Kanye is right. Kanye's goal, basically, if you just take away all that Jew bullshit, is he is just trying to say that there is a system in the music industry that takes advantage of artists, especially young black artists, and that they steal from them and steal their art and steal their music and basically make them sign contracts that's like slavery. That's what he's trying to say. It just happens to be that the ones that he's done shit with are Jews. Now, why is that? Because Jews created the music industry really in Hollywood, like back in the day, like Charlie Chaplin and all that shit. Like, so it's automatic that they're going to be in there. But like, I'm not dealing with
because it's
I've
Jews.
been
They
fucked
say
up by
Jews
Hollywood,
but they say
and none of them are Jews.
They
What?
say for Jews it's music and movies, right? Like
like
the
entertainment industry
basically
as
the
a whole.
entertainment.
Everything.
Jews came in America, and that was one of their things. And I got fucked up. Like I'll talk about that later. I'm gonna go back to Angie.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about like how I got fucked over with the whole How High 2 thing. You know, like it's not a Jew thing. So I think I'm not mad at him for saying that because I know what he's trying to say, and he's right. At the core of it, what he's trying to say is correct because I feel it in the film industry. He felt it in the music industry. Anyway, I was gonna go back to the Angie thing so you can see how it's like comes together. How I ended up getting into How High shit was. So I did my monologues for Angie, and she was like, I want to introduce you to managers, agents. I was like, that's not my thing. And we start hanging out. We're not like dating or anything, but she's like, hey, I start hanging out with her. We're like going to bars.
She's pretty hot.
She's super hot. I mean, I would have kicked it with her at that time. She was into like model.
Hey, that was one of the questions I wasn't gonna ask.
Yeah, like I knew her boyfriend. He was like a Versace, buff model and shit. Yeah. So we went out one night. Russell Simmons was at this club or bar we were at. I think it was the Sunset Marquee. And he's trying to like talk to her. Like, I don't know if he wanted to hit on her or he's just trying to talk to her. She's ignoring him. So I took her to the side. I was like, listen, Angie, I would love to meet Russell Simmons. I mean, you could introduce me to him. I don't care about manager and agents, but like Russell Simmons. She's like, no problem. So she pulls me over right to Russell Simmons. She's like, hey, Russell, I want you to see this guy's monologues. And he's looking at me like, okay, just another Jewish guy from from Hollywood, right? Yeah. So he's like, wait a minute, look at this Jewish guy's monologue. He goes, the only way that I'm going to see this guy do a monologue, and he's like, I don't even know what that means, but the only way that I'm going to see this guy do anything is if you come to my house with him.
Oh.
And Manji was like, fine, we'll be there tomorrow morning.
Oh, shit.
Wow. So the next night, I stayed up all night because I was freaking out. And I was going to meet Russell Simmons.
And how old are you?
25, 26
okay.
at the time.
Okay.
So I'm like in grad school. I just finished grad school. So I go to his house and he's there and he's like.
And so he was in LA at the time?
Yeah, he had this house. It was like younger Russell Simmons. It was like cliche
was
Russell
that when
Simmons.
he was
like,
with
I remember
Gamora?
a Nas album was coming out. He had like models on his porch. Yeah. And like,
Baby,
it was like
Baby Fat and Fat
sick.
Farm.
It was like, holy shit, what's that?
Baby Fat and Fat Farm, Kimora Lee.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Empire.
Right. So I'm in the front room and he's like, listen, I don't do my film stuff. I'm in charge of my music stuff. I have a guy that's in charge of my film side. His name's Stan Lathan. Now, Stan Lathan is Sanaya Lathan, that actress. I don't know if you want to put her up. She's super famous.
Yeah, can you look her up, Hugh?
And Stan Lathan's famous too. Like Stan Lathan did, like all kinds. He directed all kinds of like. I think he directs the Oscars or something. He's big.
So it's just Stan and then Lathen.
Yeah, Lathan. Lathen.
Ian. Okay.
So he's like, Stan's gonna come over and see you do these monologues or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
I've never even heard that term, so I wouldn't even have known.
Yeah, it's just like just acting by yourself, basically. So Stan comes over. Angie's
real
there.
quick. Is that kind of what the bums in Hollywood do when they're talking to themselves? Are they monologuing?
that is it. In fact, at those tournaments, you see like students like walking around pacing, talking to themselves.
I feel like you have to have a level of
kooky
to.
Oh yeah, because you got to switch characters. Like if you do one character like this, you got to like talk like this, and you go back and forth. It's weird shit.
Well, yeah,
that's
a lot.
Like John Leguizamo did it. I'm trying to think of.
Yeah. Pest.
So Stan showed up, and then he's like, all right, go ahead. They closed the door and like do whatever you do. So then I was nervous.
And it's just you.
Just me.
Oh wow.
Angie was outside.
Okay.
So I did I did it for them. When I do these things, I'm looking at you. I'm looking, and I could tell if I got somebody sucked in. I could tell if they're like kind of like, there wasn't phones really at that time, but I could tell.
Right.
96,
Beepers.
The razor.
The beeper.
Yeah. So I know that got him. So I finished the first one, and they're kind of like, whoa. And they're like, I'm like, do you want to see another one? They're like, yeah. And I did another one. And I did another one and another one. And Stan was like, listen, man, he's like, you're really good. I want to sign you. So he's like, tomorrow I'm going to have somebody take you and get you headshots. And you're going to start going out on auditions.
I remember when those headshots were so important.
Dude, I have these headshots.
I mean, they're still important. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you need that's
That's
how you get in there.
That's what we need in our studio is your headshot.
I'm gonna get, dude.
Yeah.
With all your memorabilia, I'm fucking down.
We need that picture.
And I got like hairy chest, like I shave my chest.
I have to every time they try to like ask me for pictures, all my pictures are like I'm half naked, and I'm like, sorry, I'm like,
you need to get some
I have to get like normal clothes.
Yeah.
Pictures.
If you wanted to be an actress, you would definitely have to get. You could have the one.
I need to work on that.
Like the serious face, the smiling face. So I had to do all that crap. I did it. I got the headshots, and then like a couple days later, an agent called. This lady calls me. This lady, her name's Jenny Delaney, and I don't know who she is. And she calls me. She's like, "Hi, my name's Jenny." She's like, I'm from the William Morris Agency. Now, one of the biggest agencies in Hollywood is Endeavor, right? There's CAA and Endeavor. They're the two biggest.
I think they own the UFC right now, too.
Right.
Yes.
Endeavor, exactly. So CAA and Endeavor are the biggest. And Endeavor bought William Morris. So, like, Endeavor has bought William Morris. So, like, Endeavor is William Morris. But before that, when I met, it was just William Morris. Wow. So she's like, I'm from the William Morris Agency. I heard you do these.
Oh, I'm going to throw this name out here because I'm thinking to myself, who represented us from the Cara Lewis? I don't know if you ever knew her. She represented a lot of hip-hop people from William Morris.
Okay, was she a music person?
Yeah, music person.
So
she was like Cypress Hill, Eminem, a lot of people, but Cara Lewis was like the shit back then.
My lady was talent, acting.
So
she was Morgan Freeman. She's like, told me, she's like, I'm Morgan Freeman's agent. I was like,
Fuck.
oh, okay. She's like, I heard you do these monologues. I want you to come in my office and do them for me. So I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, because I knew.
And you're in school, college at this time?
I think I'm like in my last
kind
grad
of like
school. I'm writing my
pivoting
thesis.
out. Yeah,
I'm
okay.
writing my thesis. And actually, I just finished my thesis, and I was getting paid. I finished my thesis. I got my master's degree, and it was the first year that I was a real teacher and coaching the speech team. So I was teaching like speech 101 classes at Cal State LA, Mount San Antonio, LA Community College. I was driving around to make money.
Wow.
And it was crazy too because I was like the same age.
So were you kind of like in the little Hollywood circle going on at this time? Or
not at this time. I wasn't.
Okay.
But I was so young as a teacher and teaching speech 101 that like my students were the same age, and like girls would give me their phone number on Scantrons on the final exam. Fucking crazy.
Scantrons?
Yeah, I'm trying to
think.
What was
Scantron?
Was that the, you do the dots?
Huh?
Was that you fill in the circles?
Pencil shit.
Oh.
Yeah, but by my name, but the teacher name would be like, hey, give me a call.
Oh,
right.
whoa.
Like, this is a cool job. I'm going to keep it. But anyway, so where was I on that?
Okay, so you
Your
did your
thesis.
Oh, it's my thesis.
you were
Okay.
teaching,
I
and
was teaching
then
there,
the lady asked
and
you
the lady
to do
says,
this.
I come in, I go to her office, and I do my monologues for her, and the first one that I do, she starts crying. So I know I got her. So then she takes me to the whole floor of the agency and has me do my monologues for all these people. Now, I still don't have those headshots done because Russell Simmons just got them done on the side. I'm waiting for him. So I do my monologues for the whole agency, and they're all blown away.
You're just
like,
putting them through the emotions.
I fucked them up.
Put them through
They're
the
like,
elements.
"Listen, we want to sign you." So this lady immediately starts getting on the phone and calling all those people and saying, oh, I got this new guy.
Ooh.
You got to see him. Don't miss out. They're like, well, who is he? He's like, he does these monologues. He's going to come into your office. So she starts making me this fucking schedule of going. No, and I was like Billy Crystal,
Oh,
Robert
shit.
Altman, Christopher Nolan when he was first
Holy
starting.
fuck.
The head of Paramount Pictures, the head of Warner Brothers. I was going, Jack Nicholson was doing a movie at the time. I met with that casting director, Francine Maisler. If you look her, she's one of the biggest casting directors there are. I was meeting all these people, right? And I'm going on these meetings and I'm doing my monologues for these people and I'm blowing them away. But the problem is I'm supposed to be teaching class at the same time. So I'm blowing off my classes and the school's getting mad and the students are getting mad. But it's like, go meet with Billy
You're,
Crystal.
yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you know what I'm
like
saying?
Jack Nicholson, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So
Damn.
I was like, I didn't know what to do. So I called the lady at the agency. And by the way, when I signed with the agency, Russell Simmons was mad about that. I guess he had beef with that lady and like sent me my headshots back and dropped me as a client.
Damn.
So I stayed with her though. And I called her and I said, listen, I'm going to have to move back to Vegas because I'm going to lose my job at these schools because I'm not going to class. You have me going to these meetings.
You want to talk into
Yeah,
the
sorry.
mic? Sorry.
Because I'm not going to class. I'm going to the meetings instead. She's like, oh, honey, don't worry. I'm going to get you some money. This is all going to lead to how high, by the way.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get you some.
I'm going to
money,
get you
honey.
some money. And I was like,
Okay.
a week passed by, and what do you know? She called me. She could come to my office, and she gave me this $30,000 check. Now, I never had that much money in my life at the time. She said, this is your money. I was like, what?
And
why?
like, what's going through you through this whole process?
I was just, why am I getting paid for? I didn't do a role in a movie or anything. And she says, Paramount TV is putting you on a holding deal so that you can only audition for Paramount stuff. So basically they thought I was going to be like some big actor, and they wanted to make sure that Warner Brothers, Universal, New Line, all these other people
Damn,
couldn't
so
see me for
they'll put people on hold.
wow.
holding deals, they're calling.
Yeah. That's
So
crazy.
this is when I started. This is how the writing came about. So I get this money and I call Zyker, who's working the tram. I'm like, dude, this. He wrote a book about this called Mr. CSI, and I call him. I'm like, dude, this fucking lady gave me $30,000 for the monologues, and a few of them he wrote. And I was
Wow.
like, what? He goes, dude, he's working the tram, bro. That works. Fucking tram.
Still before CSI.
Still way
Okay.
before CSI. Yeah. He's working the tram. He's like, dude, just keep doing whatever you're doing. It's working. I'm like, okay. So I start going out on real Hollywood auditions. And then, I don't know if you know this, but they call, like, when you get an audition in Hollywood, you use some, like, lower level actors. They don't get the whole script. They just get the scene that they're supposed to audition with, and then they're called sides. So you get these things called sides. So I get the sides for this my first audition, and I read the scene, and I'm like,
Piece of pie, right?
this sucks. Like, this is the worst. Like, I feel like this is horrible. Like, she's like, oh, well, you're an actor. You have to learn, the agent, you have to learn how to do anything. It's a job. And I'm thinking to myself, like, it's a firefighter. I'm like, me, a firefighter? Like, is that half Jewish? Like, we run from fires. Like, we don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to be fucking with fires and shit. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I went to the audition, and I felt like when I did the writing that I sucked. Then I went on another audition. Worst writing ever. Every single thing, bad writing. And it was for pilot season. I think I got to, like, the finals of one show. It was between me and that dude, like Jeffrey Ross. You know that fucking comedian Jeffrey Ross? Have you ever seen him before? Anyway, I just remember he got it and I didn't. So I was like, listen, these people pay me $30K to audition. I didn't get a role. I told her, I go, maybe I'm not just an actor. Like, I'm a performance artist. I just write my own shit. She's like, well, honey, wait, because CBS gave you another holding deal. I was
Whoa,
like, oh, shit. So then they gave me another holding deal. So then I did that.
What
for
were you doing with this?
30,000?
What were you doing with the money? Like,
nothing, man. It wasn't that, like, to me, it was a lot of money then,
Yeah.
but, like, what's 30? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
like, I just got a better apartment. And
did you get a prostitute?
no.
Okay.
I didn't buy
No,
drugs. I wasn't into drugs.
no.
I maybe was buying some weed at the time.
Yeah.
Sure, that's right. But,
Not touching it,
yeah,
though,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So I did it for CBS, and the writing sucked, too. And that's when she says, well, she kind of wanted to drop me as an actor, and she's like, well, your writing is as good as your acting. She goes, can you write a script? I was like, I don't know how to write a script. And so then that's when I called Zyker, and he was still at the tram. I'm like, yo, Z, I go, this agent lady wants me to write a script. He's like, I don't know how to write a fucking script. But he's like into gambling and shit, so he's thinking, So so we were thinking, I was like, maybe we could write a script, because when I was in high school, I'd run numbers for these Jewish mobster guys, and they would give me a pager. It was back pager days, because I was in high school, and they would tell me what to bet. So I'd like,
Hey, what did 4-3 mean?
I forgot what 4-3 means.
Fuck
Call
you.
me right back. Oh, it was it? Okay, I forgot.
I'm trying to think.
These dudes would be like,
I love you.
These dudes would be like, they'd give me like
Code?
$500,000 in chips. Send me to the Golden Nugget. I would sit there. I remember I used to sit next to the guitarist of the Red Hot Chili Peppers' dad. I would sit
The
there at
Flea or whatever his
17,
name is?
John Frusciante, I think.
Okay.
I would sit there like 16, 17 years old at the Golden Nugget. I had a fake ID. The fucking mobster dudes gave me a fake ID. I'd have a fake ID, and they would page me Buffalo +3 for $3. So I'd go up there, I'd bet for these guys, and then I'd bring them back their money at the DI, where the win is now. I'd go to the DI and drop them off to this runner guy. Right?
So
I
much
was
shit
like,
going on in Vegas.
I was like, maybe we can write a movie about that. He's like, I don't know how to write a movie. He goes, let me do some research. So Zyker gets this book called.
This is like reminding me,
And
like
this
my
is
son and his friends.
before-
You know?
This
Yeah.
is before internet, or like
No, there's
internet,
internet, but
was
it's like,
around. Yeah, it's like
slow-ass internet.
AOL.com.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I fucking, this is like 97-ish, 98-ish.
Okay.
So I'm like, he gets a book. He calls me. Book's called Screenplay by Sid Field. It's like one of the most generic screenplay book you can buy. Every screenwriter reads it. But it like makes sense. It gives you, screenwriting is structure. It's not what you say. It's structure. It's the structure of the movie. The scenes in order. It's not, people think screenwriting is the dialogue. That's the easiest part. But anyway, so he goes, I can do this. Zyker said this. He goes, what's our movie about? I go, let's do it about a dude who like what I did, ran numbers. And he loved that I did that because Zyker gambled. But he loved seeing me with all this fake money. It's real money, but it's fake for us. But we're betting it, right? But he got a kick out of that. He's like, yeah, and this kid, this runner, it was called a runner that would run the numbers for the mob. He has a gambling problem, and he starts blowing all the bookies' money, and all hell breaks loose.
Oh God.
I was like, damn, that is good. He's like, all right, I'm going to start working on it. So he goes off for like a month and writes this thing called The Runner and sends it to me. And I read the fucking thing, and I'm like, we agree that he wrote the screenplay, but since I was the runner, I get a story credit on it, okay? And with him. So I didn't write the script. I just kind of helped with the idea, which in Hollywood you can get a story credit, which is a big deal because you get paid off your credits. So he writes the script. I read it. So I went and bought other scripts. I bought Sling Blade, the Billy Bob Thornton. Remember that movie? Crazy ass shit. I bought Thelma and Louise.
Oh.
I bought Pulp Fiction.
Fuck yeah.
I read those three, and then I read Zyker's script, and I was like, you know what? This fucking Zyker script is hanging with these. Like, maybe it's because it's set in Vegas and some shit that I did, and it's my shit,
real life shit,
my world. But this shit's hanging. So we give it to the lady at William Morris, the lady who asked for it. We give it to my agent, and a month passes by, and nothing happens. Now, we don't know about Hollywood, me and Zyker. Zyker thinks if an agent asks you to write a script, that the movie automatically gets made. Like, it's just, that's
You guys are just
so the
you guys
opposite.
are gambling.
Like, exactly. So he goes, where's that lady? So I call the lady. I'm like, what's up with the script? She's like, oh, our people over here really liked it. So they just gave us this. When you write a script, agencies hire like younger agents to read them, and they give you this shit called coverage. And the coverage is like on a 10 scale is the script an 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Ours got a pretty high score. And then Zyker read the page, and he's like, that's it? That's all we fucking get? I wrote the script, and I just get this fucking piece of paper? He's all, no, man. He goes, fuck her. He goes, I know this lady. He goes, I know this guy who does soft porn. This is a true story, bro.
Oh.
He goes, I know this guy who does soft porn for Showtime.
Oh yeah, because those are the big paydays.
Exactly. He read the script, loves it, wants to buy it off us for $30,000, which is the lowest you can buy a script for at the time. We're hella happy. Zyker gets some money. I get like a couple $1,000s. This guy's like, the dude that does soft porn. He goes, this is going to be my first feature film that's not soft porn. He also like does all the Jerry Bruckheimer trailers. So he's rich.
Wow.
So he's like, this is going to be my first feature film. He flies Zyker to L.A., puts him up in an apartment to do rewrites on the script. Zyker does the rewrites on the script. Finally, the dude is happy with the rewrites on the script. The script's called The Runner. He's happy. He's like, it's time to cast the script. He sends the script out to the big agencies, CAA, William Morris, whatever was around back then, Gersh, Paradigm. And he sends them out. And after that that's when our life changed. CAA read the script. I think they gave it to Tom Cruise, Matt Damon, Vince Vaughn. All those guys read it, were freaking out. They wanted to do it. CAA was like, we told them, we already sold it for $30K, the script. The agency's like, fuck that. We're going to get you way more money from it. We'll pay that guy off.
Oh, shit.
So they go out for sale with the script to the big studios, Sony, Universal, Warner Brothers, everything. In a day, Sony comes back. This huge executive, the head of Sony, her name was Amy Pascal. Amy Pascal fucking read it and said, I'm signing you. I want this script. I'm buying the script off you guys for $1 million. We were freaking out, bro.
Oh, God.
We were flipping the fuck out, right? So we tell the guy who bought it off us for $30K, you know what's going to happen? He's like, fuck
like,
that.
We'll
It's
buy
my
it.
script. I own it. He goes, no. So the lady, Amy Pascal, had a meeting with this guy to see if he could direct it, but he's a soft porn guy. She's dealing with Scorsese and shit, right? She's like, I can't do the movie with this guy. And he's like, fuck that. I'm rich. I can make my own movie. And from that, he made his own movie. He made it independently. We ended up, instead of Tom Cruise and fucking Matt Damon, we got this guy, Ron Eldard. You've seen him before. Courtney Cox was the girl.
Oh, man.
Joe Mantegna. You've seen him in like mob movies before. And then we had our bookie, the bookie. Yeah, there it is. That's the movie right there. See Zeiker writers.
Courtney Cox.
Yeah, when is that? 99?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
And you know what's crazy? You know, Netflix makes movies, their own movies. This was Blockbuster. Blockbuster bought our movie and was like, we're going to premiere this in Blockbuster. It was crazy. So Joe Mantegna and John Goodman was in it. We got him as the bookie.
How old was Courtney Cox at the time, man? She
Oh,
looks the
John
same.
Goodman.
A little older than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and she was still Friends-ish, I think, or just right after
yeah,
Friends.
yeah.
That movie. So anyway, this guy directed the script. Worst fucking movie ever. People in Vegas like it. It's like a cult movie. Fucking worst movie ever, dude. It's the worst. The dude butchered the script. The first scene of that movie is so good. People would freak out on it, but the dude didn't know how to direct it. It was like this dude is so fucked up in gambling. He's like watching his wife give birth as a horse race, but he's fucked up in the head. So he's like, as the horses approach the starting gate, we are moments away from the third trimester at Del Mar Hospital. And away they go. In the opening moments of the third race, the first horse out of the gate is Parafeet. Parafeet shows her legs as they reach the first turn. But close behind is Dr. Do Something for Christ's Sake. Dr. Do Something for Christ's Sake moves in to keep pace, and at the turn it looks like my boy. My boy poking his head at the top of the pack, but quick to challenge is a number 13 horse, Internal Hemorrhaging. Internal Hemorrhaging now starting to fade. Look who's making a move on the outside. It's my wife on the outside, jockeying for position. Forget about the rest of the pack, Jack. We're way back. It was a crazy-ass fucking thing. This dude couldn't fucking do it, right?
Oh, my God.
So...
And when you sell your screenplay,
Yeah.
you don't have any creative control in
once you
who's
say, and
directing.
that's why
Yeah,
I've
they
changed.
do it.
And if
yeah.
we want to get to what I'm doing now, that's why I've changed my whole, like I haven't done anything in a while because I'm trying to change my whole way of doing things. But from that script and the movie getting made, Zeiker got a meeting with Jerry Bruckheimer.
So I'm laughing because Zeiker, I'm still picturing him as the guy that's running
At the
the
tram?
Yeah, look at him. He's fucking, yeah, dude. He's huge. Look, he's got like probably like $100 million in the bank now. He had CSI. So anyway, he probably wouldn't want me to say that, but
Yeah.
I don't know how much he has. He's my boy. I'm just saying he went
Allegedly.
He went from the
Yeah.
tram to $100 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he gets a meeting with Bruckheimer.
That's a very Vegas story. I mean,
Right?
shit happens for people out here.
First meeting he gets, Jerry Bruckheimer
Wow.
pitches CSI the idea because what happened was he was on like a ride along with the cops. He had got a job. He had got a cop job for Emilio Estevez,
Whoa.
He was writing for a cop story, a cop pilot TV show for Emilio Estevez. So he went on a real crime scene. This is how he came up with CSI. He went on a real crime scene with the cops, and he's just listening to the cops talk. There's a dead body in the middle of the fucking living room. It's
Oh my
a real
God.
dead body. LVPD, coroners are there and everything. And he sees these people hovering over the body with tweezers. And he asks the cop, like, what do those guys do? And he's like, don't worry about those guys. Those are the CSIs. Nobody cares about them. They just pick the shit up off the body and send it to the lab. And Zeiger was like, you know what? That's the show I want to write. And he pitched that shit to Bruckheimer, created CSI. Boom. Number one show of all time. CSI is the number one show of all time.
I used to watch that.
CSI Miami, CSI New York. He has CSI Cyber. Now there's a brand new CSI Las Vegas on CBS.
He's the tram guy
wrote. Creator of CSI.
Wow. He wrote wow.
So do you ever fuck with him and be like, bro, do you remember when you were running the tram?
Oh, dude, he remembers all that shit. He wrote a book about it. And then, so how high happened, there he is. Right. And if you Google both of us, you'll see me and him together, real young probably.
Wow.
But what happened is I didn't sign with CAA because I didn't write the script. I just got that story credit. You didn't screenplay credit means you wrote it. Story means that's why Quentin Tarantino is mad at doesn't like Roger Avery that much because Roger Avery took a story credit on Pulp Fiction. If you look at that script, it says story by Roger Avery and Quentin Tarantino, and the script is written by Tarantino. There's no other fucking Quentin Tarantino script with somebody else's name on it. He still to this day, because I know Tarantino, he did a CSI, 2 CSIs I helped him, I helped writing, and he's still to this day mad about that. So anyway. But Zeiger, what was I saying before that?
Zeiger got the deal where he pitched it to Bruckheimer.
How it became How High. So I didn't sign with CAA, but then I was like, you know what? I was like, this dude wrote this script and now has the biggest agent in Hollywood, and people ask for $1 million for a script. I'm going to write my own Vegas script. So do you remember back in the day when people were like telemarketing out here in Vegas, like boiler room shit? Well, I wrote a script in that world, and I wrote it, and I gave it to one of my agent friends, and he flipped out on it and gave it to Paradigm, which is a smaller agency, but it's still a bomb agency.
Yeah, I remember them.
Fishburne's there. Yep. And I met my agent there, who's my agent to this day, Valerie Phillips, and they signed me. And one of the agents there knew I was into hip hop, and he got a email from Jersey Films, and Jersey Films produced Pulp Fiction. Jersey Films is Stacey Sher, Danny DeVito's company.
Okay,
they're not around anymore, but it was Danny DeVito's company. They produced Pulp Fiction.
Wow.
They actually they weren't involved in the thing where Shauna Gar, a producer, became friends with Method Man. She's still his manager to this day.
Hey, real quick, I used to book Method Man. I used to book all the Wu-Tang all the time. Did he have a manager named Seven? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Seven's like the tour manager.
Yeah, that's what that's who I dealt. Yeah, that's who I dealt with, and I always thought it was Wu-Tang, but somebody's like,
Seven,
yeah, somebody was like, Seven is Method Man's thing, but that's
Seven
who I dealt
and
with.
Nut are Method Man's like main dudes.
Yeah,
Seven and Nut, and then Street Life, of course. Yep. But so Shauna had met with Method Man, Shauna Gar. She's still Method Man's manager. But at that time, she had just met with Method Man, and Method Man was like, "We want to do a stoner like Animal House." So Shauna told the agencies, Method Man and Redman, they were nothing like they weren't just music guys at the time. This is 2000.
I used to tell people why I respect what Method Man's doing today, like as far as like health wise and fitness. Man, I would book Wu-Tang, bro. You couldn't understand a word they were saying. They were so fucked up out there on stage. Like, it was like actually awful because they were so fucked up. Oh, but I was just like,
Was it right in the beginning of their pair? Obviously all the
because how did Redman come in? Because Method Man
Wu-
technically was Wu-Tang, but Redman wasn't.
Because they were working on the Blackout album, and Method Man told Shauna, Redman is like my Cheech. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
She brought like, you know Redman in. They're being known as this stoner duo, like a new Cheech and Chong. So Shauna started looking for writers, and then I get a call from my agent, and they're like, "Hey, Method Man and Redman want to do like Animal House, stoner Animal House. How would you do it?" That's how Hollywood works. It's like agents, like the studios will say, "Hey, we want to do a certain type of movie." And then the writers come in and pitch how they would do it, and then the producers and the artists or the actors okay that writer. And so I was like, my buddy Eddie helped me actually with coming up with the Ashes, And what happened was I was like, I remember Tupac. When I was trying to come up with How High, I remember they're like, you have to have this, the way that you would do this movie in 2 days, because you're meeting with Method Man and Redman and pitching it to them at the L'Ermitage Hotel in Beverly Hills. So I fucking stayed up all night for 2 days trying to think of like, what would be the best way to do this fucking movie for Method Man and Redman.
Were you a stoner at the time?
Yeah,
So
fuck
you
yeah,
understood.
I was a stoner. And I'm huge into Wu-Tang. That's why.
And how old were you at this point?
Let me think, 25-ish. It's like
so because you were 25 when you
it's still
met
around
the
the
age.
same-
Okay,
this
so this
happened
is
all
all
in this
still in the
time.
beginning.
Yeah.
Exactly, because How High came out, like I was done writing How High 98. It took a year to shoot, and then it comes out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it comes like we did it as how a movie as fast as possible, but you got to think it takes
There's
a while
still a
to write the
process.
script. You got to cast it, all pre-production, shoot it,
Wardrobe,
and then market
location,
it, and it comes
yeah.
out. Like the fastest you can get a movie out is 3 years or 2 years.
And was it still weird at the time? Like I know when Eminem did 8 Mile, nobody wanted to touch it because it's like, oh, this is a
because
rapper
here's the thing.
type of movie.
Here's the thing. When Shauna met with me, I remember Tupac, the Tupac thing. I remember Tupac. And Eddie reminded me of this too, that Tupac always said, I want my homies to smoke my ashes. So when I took that idea, I was like, well, they can't smoke ashes because it's a weed movie. They got to smoke weed. So that's when I came up with the idea that they sprinkle the weed in the pot, and it grows this magical pot, which when they smoke it, the dude Ivory shows up.
Yeah.
So that was my pitch. And I remember the day at the L'Ermitage, bro. This is the fuck, I'll never forget this shit. I go into L'Ermitage, I'm ready to pitch this to them. I remember there's like 3 or 4 writers ahead of me pitching to Meth. Meth's in the it's a nice hotel. Meth's
He was always kind of he'd be like intimidating.
Yeah.
So to me, I never met him before, and like to me, Method Man was like
the guy.
his voice, just
Yeah.
everything about him. He's just charismatic. Like he's just a fucking god. Like I'm not like trying to blow his head up any more than it is, but like he knows like the dude has a special thing about him. The sound of his voice, the way he looks, the way he walks, his height. He's just a bad motherfucker. So I was intimidated. I remember 3 dudes pitched before me, and then it was my turn. And I would go up in front of him.
Were you high when you did?
No. And he's eating a steak with those like heavy forks.
Yeah.
You know, like expensive forks and knives.
Is he kind of like not interested? Like,
He's just
like
he's
okay,
dude,
let's.
he's young. Me and we're the same
Okay,
age. So
okay.
he was like 26. This is young Meth. Dude,
Okay,
right after Tikal.
okay.
And then Redman is sitting on the floor like this on the floor, looking up at me. Okay. Redman is fucking god to me too, but like Method Man is just, you could tell he's the boss. Like Redman does what Method Man says, you know. And then Shauna was back there too, and I start pitching this shit, and when I pitch, I would do his voice. I'd be Dustin, what's up? Yeah, man, what you smoking that shit? Like I would do Meth's voice. Now I do Redman. I would do Redman too, and both of them are like, what the fuck you like? They're kind of, I don't know if they like that shit, but like. I had to do the voices.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was something in they were into it. They were into my pitch. But I remember there was something in the pitch that he didn't like, and I remember throwing those forks down in the fucking knife. He was like, I ain't doing that fucking shit, Dustin. And at the same time, I was like, oh yeah, we could take that out. I was scared. Because I was like, Method Man's fucking mad at me. But at the same time, it was like, wow, maybe he likes my idea so much that he's saying that he's not going to do it. Maybe he's already saying that he wants to do my idea.
Like he's gonna do it, just not that part.
Exactly.
Just rewrite it. Okay.
I went home. I smoked with him there.
Oh,
I went home, and then I got the call from my agent that Shauna and Method Man and Redman wanted me. So then we needed to find a producer, and that's when Shauna found Jersey Films, Dan DeVito. So then I had to go and pitch it to Danny DeVito. Me, Method Man, Redman,
Some of the
Shauna.
little Danny DeVito.
Danny
Oh
DeVito.
my God.
He owned Jersey Films, which, like I said, did Pulp Fiction. So I pitched it to them, and they're like, yeah, we want to do this. Like, we love this.
Wait, you're saying Danny DeVito has something to do with How High?
He is the producer. If you Google the credits of How High.
Oh my God!
He's the main
Did you
producer.
smoke weed with him?
No.
Danny
okay.
DeVito.
I only saw him.
That would have been epic.
I only saw
Twins.
and Pamela Abdi is a producer. She's the head of right now.
Is that the Shauna you were
she's
talking
the
about?
head of Warner
Jersey
Brothers.
Films.
Yeah, Shauna's the main.
Oh
Sean
yeah, Danny
Agar.
DeVito.
Yeah. Holy
Holy
shit.
motherfucking
Ellis.
shit!
James Ellis is,
Look at that
is
little
Method
guy.
Man or Redman's music
Look at
manager.
that guy.
Yeah.
Shout
Shambles,
out
Stacey
to
Sher's
Danny
shoes. If you
DeVito.
click on Stacey Sher, 'cause you'll
Stacey
see-
Sher.
or
Hugh?
click on DeVito. He produced Pulp Fiction too. Like you'll see her filmography.
Fuck.
Look, filmography, Pulp Fiction.
Wow.
Look at the movies she did.
Get Shorty.
Yeah, bro.
Matilda.
Remember that? Remember Reno 911?
I know.
Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah.
That was a huge movie.
So they were big producers. So Universal was like, yeah, we want to do this. They paid me. It wasn't a lot back then. It was like an opening writer, but they paid me. I wrote it, and then I wrote it and I turned it in. Okay, I thought it was good. And Shauna calls me a day later and is like, Method Man hates this. I was like, fuck. He's like, he wants you to come to the studio immediately.
Oh,
He needs to talk to you. So I fucking go to the studio. I go to his hotel room the first time. I go to his hotel room, and I remember he's in the bathroom getting his haircut, and I have this on tape. He's in the bathroom getting his haircut, and he's telling me, "This fucking sucks, Dustin. I would never say this shit." He's like, "I ain't no sucker for love, N-word, Dustin. I ain't no sucker for love." And he's like,
You ain't no lover
it was
boy.
Like, I made it like an Adam Sandler, like romantic comedy
rom-com.
shit in there.
Yeah.
He's like, you better take all that shit out. He's like, I also want a guy who rides a bike, he's fucking with us all the time. He started telling me little things
like a Debo kind of.
Exactly, because most of the characters they were mine, but Meth and Red, of course, they're how high. Like, and you know what's funny is when I said it that day of pitching, I said, I want to call the movie How High. And both Meth and Red are like, hell no. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, nah, man. Meth's like, I don't want to fucking ride on my old shit. And I was like, no, man. This is How High the song. It'll be How High the movie. It's perfect. It's a stoner movie. It's a perfect title. And then they ended up going with it. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I wrote it. I turned it in. I did more notes for Method Man. And then we turned it in to the studio. Like I was saying, some of the characters, like for example, Ivory, the dude that they smoked.
Ivory. With the fucking
Yeah. My friend in college, his name's Guy. My friend in college at Arizona State had that shit. And we would go out to clubs and talk to girls, and they'd be looking at him like,
What's
bro,
that shit on
I
your
tell
face?
him, like, shave that fucking shit off, bro. Why do you have that? And he's like, nah, man. It makes me spiritual, bro. I'm a Buddha because of that. You look it up. Look it up. I'm like, no, dude. So I used that for Ivory so that he had some spirituality.
Yeah.
So when he smoked him, he showed up. And like Twan, the Asian dude, like Twan, I based off this little kid when I was like 11 years old. And we would go to his house. His mom would always, this is Vegas shit. His mom was always sleeping all day. And I'm like, dude, why does your mom sleep all day? And then I found out later his mom's sleeping all day because she would come out in these like fancy robes and shit, that she was a hoe.
Oh.
His mom was a hoe, like sleeping all day. Like, oh, okay. So
I
I
take care of
put
them
Twan
babies.
after, yeah, exactly. And so anyway, we give it to the studio, and then the studio reads it. They're like, we don't know we don't know what we think about it. So I have to get my notes from the studio head and Universal head, right? And I get into that meeting, and I'm still a young writer, man. Like, I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I just remember seeing her script, and it's all dog-eared. Like, it's this big because it's dog-eared. She starts giving me all these notes on what to change, and I'm arguing with this lady. Her name's Mary Parent. She's one of the biggest people in Hollywood right now. She's like Brad Pitt movies, everything.
You're arguing with
I'm
him?
arguing because I don't know. Like,
Right.
I'm like, no, man, it's a good idea. You don't argue with studio execs. She goes, get out of my office. I'm like, no, but get out of my office. Right there, they fired me. They fired me right
fuck.
there. But then they put comedy writers on there to punch up dialogue. And one of them, Jersey Films tried to give a credit to because they think he did a lot of good work on the script. But like I was telling you earlier, and I mean, this would be a really good podcast for a screenwriter to listen to, seriously, like, because I'm seeing a lot of inside screenwriting
Yeah,
shit that no one
I'm
knows.
learning something.
But scripts, the credits is the structure is the script. So what I mean by that is what happens in the story. That's the main thing that people look at when it comes to giving credit to a script. If you just change some dialogue here and there, that's not changing the story. So there's an original writer of a script. In order for you to get credit, if you're a second writer and you come on and rewrite somebody else, you have to change 50% of the script. And these guys, nobody changed 50% of my script. It still stayed solid throughout the whole thing. So that's why I'm the only writer on How High. Although there are stuff in that script that I didn't write. There's lines in that script that I didn't write. Like, I didn't write that scene when the dudes are smoking with the shit on his lips, got shit on his lip.
Yeah.
You know that scene? I didn't write that scene. There, you know, things happen in comedies. Like for example, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David, he just writes a synopsis. He doesn't even write dialogue. He just writes a synopsis and he lets the actors come up with the dialogue. So like Baby Powder, for example. When I wrote Baby Powder in my original script, you know the Mike Epps part.
Yeah.
When I wrote Baby Powder in my original script, I just had pimp, assistant pimp. That's all I had. I had pimp, assistant pimp, right? But then when Mike Epps was cast, he got the outfit. He turned it into Baby Powder. So like I didn't come up with Baby Powder. I came up with pimp, assistant pimp, but he took it to a new level, and that's what a great actor does. And like, dude, Baby Powder is one of the most fucking classic fucking characters of all time. Like he slapped with the fucking the flower and all that shit. Like that's fucking amazing, that shit. And I didn't come up with that. Like I had a bitch slap, but I didn't have with the fucking powder on your face afterwards. You know what I mean? So like screenwriting is a weird thing. Like it's really hard to get the sole credit what I did, because that means I get all the money. If you the more writers, you split the money. So that's how that happened. And then when that happens,
So, but when you got fired, how did you get brought back into it again?
I didn't.
Oh wow.
So what happens is I got fired. They had my.
How did anybody? I mean, did Method Man or anybody like, hey, we want Dustin
they had no
back?
power either. You don't have power over the studios. You know what I'm saying? Those are the studios are Universal, Warner Brothers. Like
your movie ain't getting made.
The actors have to kiss their ass. You know what I'm saying? So, so no, Method had no say in that. But my structure was so solid that they just changed lines here and there. So what happens is who picks the credit is the Writers Guild. It's my union, the Writers Guild of America. So there's the Directors Guild, there's the Writers Guild, and then there's SAG, the Actors Guild.
Yeah.
So mine, the Writers Guild, is they send all the drafts of the script to the people in the Writers Guild, and then those people all get together and pick who deserves credit. And I got sole credit. So like if you look at other comedies like Blazing Saddles or like Scary Movie, there's like 10 writers on there, and those motherfuckers have to split 10 ways. So it's a big deal to get sole credit. So then after that, I started getting really good jobs. Like, I wrote a script for Paul Antanasio, who wrote Quiz Show. I was like, write a script for Jerry Weintraub, who did Ocean's movies. I was getting paid big money writing these scripts. And then that's when Zyker called me. And he's like, listen, man, CSI was like 4 years in. He's like, they're making me do a spinoff called CSI New York. He goes, I need you to come to CSI and be the Vegas guy, the Vegas voice. I was like, I don't really like watch that kind of like procedural TV. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I didn't really get into it. I know it was massive at the time.
I wasn't into it, but he's like, you know what, dude, you're going to make a shitload of money.
Yeah.
You're going to learn from the showrunner. You're going to be a better writer because you're writing every day. They force you to write all day. I was like, all right, let me try it. I got in there. Boom. I was there for 10 years. I wrote 30 episodes.
Were you living in New York?
180 episodes, bro. I don't have to work anymore just because of that.
Yeah. No, but did you live in New York?
You were living in Vegas?
No, it was Universal Studios.
Oh, okay.
Our thing, we were right across from Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
So I was writing at Universal Studios, and, you know, that is just intense work.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
Where's the Zyger now? Is he in Vegas, New York? I mean, dude,
he has like a sick house in Malibu. He has a sick house
all over the place.
He's mostly in Malibu, and he has the Las Vegas CSI show right now. That's the new one. It doesn't have the original cast in it. But that CSI, that 10 years that I was there, man, I put Kate Mara in one of her first episodes of TV. She's huge. She's like in superhero movies now. I put
Did you?
Michael B. Jordan when he was
Yeah.
17. Like Michael B. Jordan was so young when I cast him. He had only done The Wire. Nobody knew who he was, and he was 17, which means he only could work a certain amount of time on set. I got to work with my Quentin Tarantino.
Did you ever?
Ice-T? Did you work with Ice-T?
No, that's
Oh,
Law and
damn.
Order. That's
yeah.
Law and
Oh
Order.
yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
yeah.
That's
Law
okay.
and Order.
But Tarantino doesn't do anything but his own movies. I'm blessed to be able to.
Yeah,
work.
that's
There,
crazy.
Yeah. There we are, right there. So that guy on the left is Narain. He was a showrunner. Dude's amazing. He worked on that show, The Expanse. I don't know if you know that. That's Zeiker. Sarah Goldfinger, great writer. There's me and Tarantino. Carol Mendelsohn was the boss right there. And the other good dudes, David Rambo. They all work in TV. They're all pretty
I was
big.
gonna say that the David Rambo guy, he looks familiar to me.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
know
just
from what,
he's,
but
he's right. I mean,
That's crazy.
So that was our writer's room. The episode was called Grave Danger. He did two episodes.
Quentin Tarantino just looks like a madman.
Dude, he's so
Yes.
he's so fun. He's like
Yeah.
he's so
love
vibrant and like in
all
the
his
film and TV, he
movies.
doesn't have any kind of attitude or he's so humble. He just wants to talk about ideas and just
I love it.
Did you ever cross paths with the Weinstein?
The
I have
Weinstein
anything.
brothers.
I have a funny Weinstein story. I never got to cross paths with Weinstein's, but I'm from one of my really good friends is Dash Myhawk, and he is an actor in like Romeo. He was in Romeo. He's in all kinds of shit. He's
Oh,
in
yeah,
Ray
th-
Donovan,
yeah, you
Banshees,
showed us.
and Ray
Yeah.
Donovan. He took me to the Gangs of New York premiere because he's in Romeo and Juliet. You know, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, so he took me to the Gangs of New York premiere, and I was sitting next to DiCaprio's mom because he's friends with his mom. But I was lucky; I got to sit in the middle between them. I was like, and I just remember Harvey Weinstein was like walking down the aisle, and he like put his hand on Leo's like shoulder, and Leo went like that. He was like, "Get your hand off me!" Like he must have been a dick back then.
Oh.
Yeah.
For Leo to do that, he must have been a dick back
Oh,
then. Like
I'm sure.
Harvey Weinstein. So I'm glad he's not around anymore because like.
Yeah.
Douchebag.
Yeah.
Terrible.
He gives
Terrible
Hollywood
stories.
a bad name. Like
Yeah.
those dudes they think everybody's like that in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
these people are fucking pedophile, like dumb shit. You know, it's like, no, it's not true, dude. I know
Yeah.
plenty of good people.
And so what? So just recently we saw that. So obviously you're at Coachella last weekend.
This
How,
year, yeah.
I didn't even know. You know, I mean, I think we briefly went through, but I mean, I didn't notice
I didn't even
Method
know
Man,
they
Redman
were.
on
Yeah.
there. So how did you? I know you said you took your son there, which that's a pretty epic.
Amazing.
My son's turning 18, so I'm like thinking to myself, like, damn, maybe I should take him to EDC. I don't know. It's not really
Does
his.
he like that kind of music?
No, it's not really his vibe. But I'm just
Well,
like, that's a
A little bit, because
I
he
think he
goes
would
to
like
Rolling
it.
Loud.
Yeah.
I mean, Coachella to me, I took him there just to feel the place, but also, you know, he loves acting because of me. I've been making him watch, you know, so it's in a way, it was kind of like a business. It was like a business
So you
trip.
said
Meeting.
when you said with his mom, you guys were never like officially together. It was just kind of it just happened.
Me and his mom, we met when I was working at CSI, coming back and forth from Vegas. So we never had enough time to really spend.
Does she still live here in
Yeah,
Vegas?
she's in Vegas. Me and her get along great. We're like
Okay.
best friends. Like she got married again. Like I was friends with her husband. Like when they would get in fights,
So
I
when
would
you
try
have
and
a-
keep them together. I'd be like, no, don't break up.
Wow.
I was like tight with her. You know, her other husband. She has another kid. Like we're like best friends. Me and his
Yeah.
mom. Like
No,
we're
that's
cool
cool
because
That's good to
I
see.
don't want my son to look back when he's older and be like, my dad was a dick to my mom. Like that's my son's mom. I could never be a dick to my son's mom just
Yeah.
because that's his mom. Like
Yeah.
some people, I don't know
No.
if they realize that they're a dick to their son's mom.
Oh, I
That's-
realized it. Actually, it was.
Were
It's
you
really,
a dick to your son's
Dude.
mom?
No,
I'm just saying.
No, but I had it was funny. I had
Hmm.
a nanny gave us me and Domo were there, but gave a speech one day, and she was like, you know, how your kid defines you is they're paying attention to how you treat the
Their
mom.
mom, yeah.
Like that's the thing, and I mean that's like I said, I didn't put in that perspective. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
you know, like I mean, I think I knew that personally, but you know, to hear that come from somebody, I'm like, you're right on the money with that one, like.
100%, man. You gotta like.
I mean, I don't think, and I know there's some really bad family situations, but I don't think no matter what the situation,
I mean,
even if the person's batshit crazy, you still can't. You
I
still
try
gotta
to
be
keep my
good.
calm. We've had our bad moments. Trust me, I've had cops called, stuff like that, but never
And what did she do?
Yeah.
Was she in? Was
You know what's crazy?
nightclub industry?
She should check this out. Like, when I met her. She was doing that Atmosphere.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was with Dash and like
That was going
night,
on
it was,
back then?
Paris Hilton. I think Aaliyah was there too. We were out.
So that was in Body English?
It was light.
Oh, okay.
And his mom was dancing. She was a Atmosphere. They pay women
Yep.
to like look good in the club.
They still kind of do that.
Do they
Now.
still do that?
Yeah.
Not as much as back then, but they do it still.
Yeah, so I got her phone number, and then we just started hanging out. And then and this is crazy. This is actually crazy. She was the Jubilee billboard. Do you know the Jubilee billboard on Bally's?
Yeah.
So when she was 17, she was a real showgirl for Jubilee. They were doing a photo shoot. She got paid $250 to do the photo shoot. And one day she looks up at the billboard and sees that it's her back.
That's still on
you
there.
Can
you
Google
look
it.
Can you
and
look
see
that
it.
up?
Do Jubilee billboard, Las Vegas.
I can picture it, but I mean I can't picture.
And
the
she
face,
was
but-
on both sides. And the reason they picked her is because she was a ballet dancer, and they said she had the best poses. And that billboard was up there for like
That's what I'm saying.
15
I was
years.
gonna
They just
say
took it down because there's no showgirls left in
She
Vegas.
get paid for that?
$250 only.
Oh, only. Oh, so they don't pay her for being the billboard.
And then when they
Damn.
shut Bally's down, I think it was only
Just
shut
recently.
Jubilee
Yeah.
down like
Yeah,
4
yeah.
years ago, that billboard came down.
I was gonna say, did she
Damn.
make it to the? Don't they have like a boneyard or something out here where they any signs or whatever, any
Oh,
memorabilia?
in downtown?
What is it called?
What's that?
The neon.
Oh yeah,
Graveyard.
yeah.
I want to go to the neon graveyard. Hey, let's go to the neon graveyard.
Yeah, that's her right there.
So the one in the yellow.
Wow.
I think-
That's her?
Yeah, that's her. You remember that, right?
That's fucking
There's
awesome.
two sides. I think she's the other one too. Click
I was
on
gonna say
the
that.
blue, the second
This
one,
one
over
right here?
with the feather, not the white feather. That pink, that one. That's her too.
That's the one I've seen. That one for
Oh.
sure.
My
I
son's
didn't-
mom. So like he'd be like 2-3 years old, and we'd be driving by that. I'd be like, "Hey man, there's your mom up there." He's like,
Wow.
Dude, that was up there forever.
"That's what I'm
I
saying."
mean, I
And she
remember
only got
that.
$250.
That's crazy. You know, I mean, Vegas
They
is a
just be using people.
Vegas is a crazy place. Like it
It is a
really is.
crazy
Like
place.
people can come out here and just, that's the only thing I like. I mean, everything's casino based, which I don't like. But I mean, I've seen people come out here like with absolutely nothing. And next thing, what I didn't understand, I'm meeting people and they're like, oh, this, Jesse and Cy, they own Excess, and then all of a sudden Cy gets fired, and I'm like, well, how do you get fired if you own Excess? And then I'm like, so then I'm figuring out all this shit. Like one day you're just there, and next thing you know, they're like, well, he gets 3%, and I'm thinking, I seen the numbers. I'm like, we made 1.9 million the night of Dead Mouse. 3%
They
of
get
that
it
is
all.
over $500,000
Yeah.
one night. And so when somebody's a 3% owner, you don't think that's shit. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a fucking lot.
I think they make weird deals because I know.
Well, I heard Victor. I want to say Victor was at almost a 10% or a 9%. And the cool thing that he did is he, like, most people in Vegas don't do it. He's like, you know what? I'm older. I need to get the more hip. So Jesse and Cy's piece was what Victor gave them to take that front role. And I mean, that was actually fucking genius. And I don't know what happened with them. I think there was a point where, when Victor was on his way out, he was kind of like expected them to come, but they didn't go with him. But
He's still popular.
oh, he's still doing his thing.
Son, right?
Dustin. His name's Dustin too. He
not on
didn't make
list,
the
dude.
Fucking
Motherfucker didn't make
Dustin.
the list. though.
Yeah, the thing
He didn't make the list.
the thing with Victor Dre, and I didn't like the first time I was around him. I just knew him from the outside, and I would see these managers, and they were like, "Bro, if he comes in and there's one fucking napkin, people at the club throwing napkins,
Yeah.
one napkin on the floor, he'll fire you on the spot."
What?
Yeah, and I'm just like, that's fucking.
The old school Dre's? Or even now?
No,
Now
just the
it's-
old school Dre's, but even when he came into Excess, Victor
Right.
at one point he opened Excess.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So how did at Coachella? How did you end up on stage with Method Man? And,
Yeah, see, man, he's never done that before. So I've been on stage with them. I mean, I always, if Method Man or Redman are having a show and it's in Vegas, I'm always there. I'm with Meth or at the House of Blues. I want to ask you, actually, I want to ask you a question. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it, but it's an Eminem thing. Because it reminded me of like when I would first go to Method Man and Redman shows at the House of Blues when they first started. But I would always go to those shows, and this Coachella, for some reason, so I was telling you Seven, and then there's Nut. Nut is Method Man's other. These are like his right and left hand men. And Nut saw me because I was standing by him, and he pulled me on stage with my son and my buddy Brad, and we were on stage. And the second the Meth saw me, that's when he pulled me over, and he said, "Hey man, this is the dude that wrote How High." And you can hear Redman say the original because there's a How High 2, which is I could tell you about that a little bit if you want to know how there was a How High 2 without Method Man and Redman and me, which is why I am so not anti-Hollywood, but like
that's the Hollywood machine.
We'll save that one.
Yeah,
but how do you do How High without the three main
exactly?
People?
So he pulled me on stage. That was like one of the best moments of my life. He's never done that before, and to do it at Coachella, But I wanted to ask you though about this House of Blues shit. So this is around the time that I'm writing How High, and Eminem first album came out.
Yep.
Okay. And he's performing at the House of Blues for the first time.
Which one? The LA one?
The LA one.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm there. I think I was there with Meth. I went with Meth. We were sitting up in the thing where like Dr. Dre and everybody used to sit up there.
Dude, I used to love going to that House of Blues.
It was sick, right?
Yeah.
And Eminem's on
there for a
stage,
long
and it's his first album, so he has the mummy with the shrooms and the Vicodins and shit hanging off the mummy. So there's a mummy on stage dancing, right? And so the mummy's dancing for like 2.5 hours. He had a long set.
Real quick on a side note.
Yeah.
When D12 did Purple Pills,
my
brother was the Purple Pill, and they would pay him in shrooms.
There it is. Oh, I love it. Best way to get paid.
He didn't even make money. They just put on a pill outfit, and they would put him out there.
Okay, so this is going to link back to that then.
Yep.
Because I'm looking at this fucking mummy. It's got pills hanging off it and the shrooms and everything. And the dancing is horrible. The dancing's off the whole time. I'm like, who the fuck is in there, right? So it's the end of the show, and Eminem's like, you ain't going to believe who the mummy is, right? This is like young M. You ain't going to fucking believe who the mummy is. Like, everybody's like, oh, you ain't going to fucking believe who the mummy is. Oh, he takes off the head.
Yeah.
It's Dustin Hoffman.
Shut the hell up.
What's crazy is like
the number one Dustin.
The actor Dustin Hoffman, number one Dustin.
One Dustin.
And I'm thinking, how the fuck did that happen? Okay, so listen. So I have no idea how that happened, right? Okay, that's
there's the mummy.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh man, that is super old school.
Okay, so check this out. That he must have had him do it again. So this is what happened. So I
brain
so
damage.
Through a week later, I tell this girl that I'm dating. I tell her about it. She's like, blows me off. She's a stylist for like Hollywood celebrities and shit. So she's like, I'm at Barney's right now, Dustin. She calls me. She's like, I'm at Barney's right now with Dustin Hoffman and his son. I go, hold on. You gotta fucking tell him that I saw him in the mummy outfit. She's like,
that's crazy. I can't even believe I don't
remember
that. That's how fucked
she
up
calls me back. She says she told him. She said Dustin Hoffman looked at his kid and goes, see, he was all excited. They saw me. So I guess what happened is Eminem invited Hoffman and his son, because his son was an Eminem fan, backstage. Yeah. And M was like, hey, man, will you get in the mummy outfit? And his son, and he's like, no fucking way. And his son's like, please, his dad, please be the mummy. And he did it.
Because, I'm trying to think back then to the age that we'd be. At the time, Dustin Hoffman probably, to me, or being at that age, wasn't like as massive as he obviously became down the road.
Right.
But because I don't remember that, but that's
random.
fucking, it is random. But back then, a lot of random shit did happen.
Right.
In the beginning, like the first couple years. After that, everything was very structured. But
yeah,
that's fucking.
Hey,
that's
the number one,
because we're all around the same age. And Meth, Red,
the
like
number one,
that
Dustin had to pass you the torch to number 15.
Dude, hey, I gotta hit them up and be like, yo, fucking Dustin Hoffman was the fucking mummy. Like,
ask him about it.
Yeah, brain damage.
No,
that was the song.
Ask him because
that for sure
blew my mind, man.
Yeah. So, real quick. So I remember when we just got to tell. I'm gonna speed this story up because we're past our time. But
Yeah.
me and Domo Monsters through Dustin Penner, we ended up meeting you.
Number 14.
And we met you. You said who was the guy? Yeah, who was
7-7.
I'm gonna get up in that ranking.
and it was crazy because it was like I said, we took a happy pill. We had met you and the dancer guy,
Sassafras.
and I think you mentioned how high, but again, it didn't even like
Such an old movie.
well, it just didn't like clip like okay, this guy did the How High movie, but you were like, hey, we're going to a party, and then me and her were like, okay. And
I
you were
really
driving
didn't want to leave the house
party?
because
Was
the
it
vibe
Neon
was
Carnival, or-
yes,
Yes.
Neon
that's what it
Carnival?
was.
Hey, you were driving a Cadillac.
Yeah, I still
And-
drive a
yeah,
Caddy.
and bro, we were in
New
the
one,
back.
though.
And
we're
I
in the back
remember because
seat.
I didn't want to leave, and Dustin definitely didn't want to leave, but somehow, the other Dustin.
Remember how he was sleeping in the office and like all these random
and then he
fucking
said-
shit?
Dude,
He
if
said, "I'm doing my
he,
taxes."
pays the most for the house, and he's
Yeah.
sleeping in like a closet.
No, he was
doesn't even
like
go to the
going
festival.
around the house,
He's-
swim, like brushing.
You come back from the festival, he's DJing by himself while
Yeah.
Coachella's going on. Like, I love him though.
Yeah,
I love
no,
him.
that's what
If
he-
it wasn't for stupid dumb politics, like me and him would.
No, that's
We're
what.
so
So
tight.
a girl told me that you said you got. You know, the thing is, he's with the politics. That's what I stay away from it. But he everybody's got some.
He's
crazy
ready.
Theories.
He's ready. He's got the facts, the statistics, the
I know, and I love to debate.
the dark web.
I came to that, I'd love to debate because I came from that whole speech and debate world,
Yeah.
and I can't stop. But like next time I see him, I'm not gonna say none of that shit because me and him have so much in common.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
still, like I said, I mean, we don't see him as much as we used to. But what was crazy was, so you basically drove us in a circle for 3 hours minimum.
I'm sorry, I was fucking on.
Yeah,
I was probably on.
No,
the
you were on one of the
Oh, yeah,
crazy
for
pills
I
we
just
gave you.
remember
Yeah.
that
And
your
she's like-
car and the inside was all lit up, and
she's
it
like-
was really like
she's
it
like,
was
"Hey."
cool. But I was like, where
She's like, hey, we've been driving in the same circle, and I'm like, yeah, and
Let's go in
we
the
got,
party.
hey, we did get to the party,
we
and it was
got
over.
to the party and it was over, and the whole time I was like, it's gonna be over in 30 minutes.
That
Like, why are
party's
we
still
going?
Popping, man. Shout out to like.
Hey, one
then
day.
So
let
then
me get
fast
in there.
forwarding to the girl Little Rach, and
I know
yeah,
a little rate.
yeah, and I mean we don't know her that well. She's like kind of like a friend of the show.
Yeah.
Really cool chick. But one day she's sitting there talking to me, and she's like, yeah, she's like, my friend's having a How High party, a guy named Dustin. I'm like, all of a sudden it's like, bam, and I'm like, this motherfucker drove me around for 3 hours in the back. I'm like, she's like, you think it's him? I'm like, there's no
There's
way.
no other
Because
way.
I said he said he was from Las Vegas because we were like, oh, we're gonna connect in Vegas, and then we called you, and you're like, were you the guy with the tattoos and stuff on the thing?
I remember.
But I'm just like, man, that was like a.
You brought somebody, and I remember too, or something. You were bringing. I don't know.
She was with me.
I was
She
there.
She was.
It was me.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only
Maybe
had.
you were way like I just didn't recognize you. Like that's where I.
Yeah.
Your voice is so. That's what I feel like I remember.
Hey, so we were
more
gonna
than-
say people. So
Probably.
being in the movie thing, a lot of people have told her she should do voiceover. What do you think
Oh,
about
dude,
that?
she would be great for like animated shit.
I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to do
I'll
a
try
cartoon.
to find- I can
I
help you.
actually, during the pandemic, the voice actors school over here,
Mm-hmm.
I did a class because I was like,
Why not?
fuck it, and it was virtual. So they still write me. Like I just haven't done the other, like the actual like beginning of the class, but the intro, I was like. They were like, yeah, it's like coloring with your voice. I was like, oh, I
You have a
fuck
great
with that.
voice.
No, that's
And
why I
it's
said,
young sounding and kid sounding a little bit too. Like you could almost play a
Oh, I could do
male
high
kid.
note. I mean,
Finding
I
in
told
my
Nemo.
Meth-
in my
I've-
private time, I
I've
sing.
always called Meth the new Morgan Freeman because he's got that.
Oh yeah,
does.
Do you remember the girl last night? By the way, this just popped in my head. We were at some party last night, and this girl's like, "Hey, I really want to bring someone on your show," and I'm like, "Who is it?" And she's like, "The black guy, the Allstate guy."
Oh, the
And I'm
Allstate
like,
guy.
I'm like, you're in good
Bring
hands.
him.
Yeah,
you know
I'm
why?
like,
24,
actor, too.
24 was
Yeah.
one. Like I fucking went down the 24, series, on Netflix, and he's in there.
Yeah, Hugh, can you put up just our sponsors?
Dan-
Shout out
what's his
to
name?
What's his
Cocaine
name?
and Fuego.
Habsburg or Hausberg or something like that.
There's our cocaine, and then hang on, I had a.
Drinking that.
Oh, and shout out to
yeah.
this is Whack It Grinders.
Have you heard of Wacket Grinders,
And
Dustin?
shout out to Takao,
To cow.
Cow.
Takao, Raz.
fucking Wu-Tang.
Wow. Yeah, you just. So
Have you
this
seen this
one's
before,
fancy.
Dustin?
Yeah,
You
I
could
have
just
seen it
put the
before, but
weed
I've
right
never seen
there.
one in person.
Well, you want to know what's so cool about it?
I would love to like. Let's roll a joint.
Yeah,
let's
she's
do it.
gonna.
Smoke it outside.
Yeah, she's gonna.
I'm actually going to Coachella tomorrow. I'm going
Yeah, so shout out to Whack
Fucking
It Grinders.
jealous.
I will tell you, I'm not a weed person. This is
I
probably
am.
the coolest little device
bring
that
it
I've seen.
That's yours. I don't want to
Oh, and then hey, and
it's like so high tech. I'm old school, you know. Like,
no, that's it.
I was saying
Oh,
to you
yeah,
earlier.
watch out.
People think because I wrote How High that I'm some like weed connoisseur and I wrote the best blunts. I don't know how to roll a blunt. I just take a pipe around, smoke a little weed. Like I'm not. I don't. I get the.
You ain't that
the half
dude?
Jew in me. I just get the cheapest weed
Yeah.
at the
You ain't
fucking
that
place.
dude.
Hugh, can you pull
I
up
got some right here,
Coco
too.
Chanel.
this is some breaking news that Domo didn't
Jack
even know.
Herrera or- yeah.
Well, I
Can-
mean, I'll try
Whatever.
yours.
Can you pull up
I have
King Little G?
Platinum Blue Dream.
What brand is that? Oh shit.
Red one.
Hey Domo, I got some breaking news for you.
Breaking news.
Well, first of all, our homie King
That's
Little
Want a
G,
cocktail?
I mean,
do you see this,
no,
Domo?
no, let's use yours. What
Oh.
is
June-
yours? Is it different?
June
King
3rd,
Little
I think I need
House
mine
of
to be
Blues.
Coachella.
Hybrid.
I'm gonna smoke yours.
I just want to say a shout out to King Little G.
I could take you.
You know what he did,
I
Domo?
don't know if I feel like going to. Oh, Tuesdays.
No, so this is
King
our
Little
friend.
G.
So King Little G showed up
House of
at
Blues.
Kushstock. There was a rapper.
I told
He
you.
slapped-
I
he-
saw him.
King Little G smacked a rapper right off the stage because
Oh,
the
my
rapper,
God.
Good. He looks hard.
bro, he looks hard. I believe. I mean, he's
yeah.
independent. He's got the most views of anybody we had. We didn't know him at the time, but I mean, bro, he's independent. He's selling out 2,000-3,000 person
I
seats.
fucking saw
But
him.
somebody he showed the thing, and it was a clip of a guy like saying "fuck King Little G," and the dude's a very cool dude for looking so hard. And yeah, they said King Little G smacked him right off the stage. And I'm like, I wish I would have been there to
Good. He's a
do
good
that.
dude.
So
I mean, if he's playing Honda Theater, really good artists play there. Like some
Yeah.
of my favorite electronic shows.
so anyways, before we roll this, where can people find you at, Dustin, on social media?
just Dustin Lee Abraham is my Instagram. That's like a private page because I don't like all the weird.
Fans.
Just every time I make my page public, it's just all fake followers.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I kind of like knowing my followers. I like talking.
Well, you
to
know
them.
how,
I like
like,
saying shit
hey.
that not everybody can see. So if anybody wants to add me on there, if you're a real person, get on my
Hey,
page.
you know what's
this
funny?
is perfect for you because you
Look at
don't
this.
touch it.
Look
so
at-
Oh
I
my
just.
God. Because I'm allergic.
Bro, it's
Yeah.
a vacuum that just shoots it right into the fucking
then-
thing.
Beautiful. Thank you for doing
Shout
this.
out
I
to
know. I
Whack
just
It
didn't want a
Grinders.
sativa because I'm gonna try to go to bed early because I got to get up tomorrow. And
Oh.
Yeah.
drive to
Okay.
Coachella.
What about you, Domo Monster? Where can they find you?
You
at?
can find me Domo Monster 7 on
I gotta
IG.
follow you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
just-
can't follow anybody, so please don't
really?
be.
Do you
So
know
I'm
they-
gonna follow you on my porn star page. That's Onyx Muse XO.
Hold on.
I just
I
recently.
think I followed you on my Onyx page.
I got a they said there was a 7,500 cap
But I
to
can
following
follow you.
people,
yeah,
which
Oh,
is
really?
weird. I've never
I,
heard of
I
that.
follow
okay.
a lot
You
of
shouldn't need to
people,
follow me
so
now.
But I did lose. I lost my page, so my new page is true.11. So it's E11EVEN.
you need to
Hold
get
on,
your bad
True
energy
dot-
off the green room
True
page.
dot 11.
True dot and then E11EVEN.
Somebody's coming for him.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then you can find us at Green Room Radio.
Green Room Radio and thegreenroomradio.com brings you
Yep.
to the YouTube page.
And we will definitely be bringing you back, Dustin, because I feel like we have stories.
Oh
I
yeah,
got a lot of-
we just
Stories for days.
We just
Yeah.
You see this
pinched
masterpiece that this thing just did? You didn't have to touch it. All right. Thank you all. Peace out.
Hey,
Peace
thank
out.
you,
Happy
I appreciate it.
420.
Yep. Happy
you,
420.